There we go. Now it's picking up my microphone. Good evening, folks. I am Joe Bachman, and this is another unscheduled edition of Behind the Code. And I think I'm gonna have to go over to Kick already to remove a bot. That didn't take long at all. So let's head to my channel. Good evening, Donna. Gonna mute here for just a second. And good evening, Bladed. How you doing there, buddy? Let's see here. I need... I'll figure that out later with Botrix. Oh, Houston, Texas Dave is here too. Good evening, Dave. And hello, Carl. Man, we got everybody popping in. So, been working on... No, my notifications must be working. Yeah, we're working on the website update. Right now I'm working on Mike Jimmy's profile page, which I've started working on the other night. And I'm liking the way it's looking so far. And Donna's saying you can't hide from us, Joe. Yeah. Well, I know doing kind of off-schedule streams sometimes it, doesn't quite work out, but I do think that starting oh, that is not the view I wanted. Is it Coding Live? Coding Live. There we go. I do think possibly starting this week, Behind the Code is going to come back. But it will not be coming back on Monday nights. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it on Tuesday night, since there, to my knowledge, isn't anything IndieCD related other than OMG stream over on Kick, but I would be starting my stream about the time he wraps his up. So there wouldn't really be any kind of overlap there. And we got greetings from Dave to Carl and Donna. Got Carl saying hi to everyone and hi to Dave, and the Munsey clan is clicking along one at a time. Alright, so let's see, I've got Life on Core 2. So let's see, I need to review my code here for a second just to see how the hell I'm doing this. One large... No. Who do you line up with? You must line up with something else. That's okay though. So we're going to go here, we're going to insert another paragraph and nest it. I don't know why it always... Oh, I know why. Paragraph after, there we go. Helps if I use the right thing. Let's see, Carl saying, Joe, please thank Trey for getting her greenie today. Yep. Yeah, we did leave the house today. We went and got breakfast like usual for Sunday and did our grocery shopping. So So she did leave the house to get her greenie. Dave saying our clan decided to take a rest. Level 4 is good enough for this month. Taking a rest for Thanksgiving. You know what? The holidays are important. So never a bad time to take a rest. Let's see. What do I have in between here? Okay, so that's how I did that. So let's do this. Let's add a blank space. We're going to insert another paragraph after. Gives us a nice little line there. Carl's saying 2 of our members were not feeling 100%, so I'm happy with whatever we get. Yeah, Tree's still not quite 100%. Today she was kind of tired. But after relaxing for a little bit after we got home from grocery shopping, she seemed to be doing a little better. So, let's see here. We need a header. Let's take this out. Add a level 2 heading. And nest it inside of this one, which we can ditch a little extra space there. And we're going to go with Laugh on Cora, number 3. Carl's saying up here we usually don't try beyond level 1 because everything will be covered with snow. That's true, and yes, sorry for the bad word, Donna. He's all saying that page is looking good, Joe. I like the font, thank you. So for the font on this, I actually went with, let me find it here again. Font size, members. That is not, that's controlling the font size. What did I go with? Where did I set it at? Font size members, font size members. Oh, it's the font align, no. Font, is it this one? No. Let's make my font H1 creator name. There it is. So yeah, I went with the font family of Lucida Grande, Lucida Sans Unicode, Lucida Sans, Deja Vu Sans, Verdana, and Sans Serif. So here's an interesting little thing. I guess I could actually get into that a lot of people don't really talk about when it comes to creating websites. Is setting up font families. And the reason why a lot of times you want to do a font family is, and it's more so, I guess this was more prevalent back in the day. Like, I'd even say, you know, the early 2000s. You'd want to do a font family. That way, and you would try and pick fonts that were similar to each other. That way, if the main font, which is the first one listed, so in this case the Lucida Grande, if the computer that was viewing your site didn't have that font, it would go to the next one in the list. If it didn't have that one, it'd go to the next one, and so on and so forth. Generally, your very last one that was listed is one that is basically guaranteed to be on any computer. But you would want to set up, at minimum, at least like I said back in the day, you'd set at least 3 different fonts for it to choose from Um, depending on what you were doing. So um, that's actually, God, I pulled that little tidbit of information out from the depths. I haven't really thought about font families in ages. Um, let's see. Texas Dave was saying that Carl turned 21 today, and Carl's laughing, saying 66. Dave says your website needs a few Easter eggs. Yeah, I was actually considering that. I'm thinking about, adding a few things in. I still remember a few old tricks. Um, I might add something in there. So, Carl's saying looks like an aerial variation. Yeah, I think Lucida is kind of an aerial variation. Donna says, so 21 pi'd, huh? Or 21 pi'd. And Carl says, oh dear Buddha, some of the GeoCity folks would use 20 fonts on one page. Yeah. Yeah, I never quite went that crazy. But the nice thing is, like I said, doing a font family, it's always, on my screen, it's always going to be Lucida Grande. They say fonts with serifs do better for print, but Arial types without serifs look better online. Okay. I will have to keep that in mind. Let's see. Oh, I remember what I was going to do. I need to pull up Mike Jimmy's old page. So I can see what the name of that was. Let's see. Name of this one is Oakes Climbs. We're gonna nest. No, we're not gonna nest. We're gonna go after. And we're going to go here, and we're looking for life on Korath. Okay, it's climbs. There we go. And then I need to look up what the actual size of that is. Houston, Texas Dave says, where's link to Carl's book down under? Might get one of his books for Christmas gift. And there you go. There's the links. Yeah, so the IndieCD site is under heavy construction right now, so a lot of links are not available. It's yeah. This is going to be work in progress for a while. All right, let me go here. Maybe? Yeah. That in a new tab. Images, creators, Mike Jimmy. Life on Quora. There it is. What is that size? 640 by 960. Alright, so we got a 640 by 960 currently. We want to drop that down to a 400. There we go. Trying to keep them all the same width here. And Sarah's here. Good evening, Sarah. How are you doing? Glad to see you survived the first snow of the season. And she's saying, well, hi, just caught you all of a sudden. Always happy to have you catch us, Sarah. And Carl's saying, of course, you've probably already seen the Uncle Carl's Guide to Munzie, free on Cup of Z. And Carl's greeting Sarah. Carl says, authors, keep a copy of your books links in a text file for easy pasting. Yes, that is a very good idea. Hashtag always promote. And Sarah's greeting the O-Dark Pope. And Dave's thanking Carl for the link. Sarah's saying hello to me and OMG the snow, ack, yes. And Carl's reminding Thesis that short story links also for keeping stuff. And let's give this some alt text here. And the link is going to be the same link that is here. Out that. There we go. Copy. I'll give that a link there. Oh, I'm going to need to add a class. Class links. Class links. There we go. Oh, that added it to H2. I don't want to add that to the H2. There we go. And for the image, we need to add the link. There we go. Let's see here. What do we got going on in the chat here? And Nick Talkitter's here. Greeting everybody. Good evening, Nick. How you doing tonight, bud? Sarah says, is this impromptu or is this a Sunday evening thing? I'm so confused right now, but glad to see you. So this is impromptu. Actually, right before you popped in, I am planning to bring back Behind the Code. And I am planning to do it on Tuesday nights. That way, Thesis still has Mondays for his game stream, and there's really nothing going on Tuesdays currently, outside of OMG TV2U over on Kick, with his coffee shop stream. So, but yeah, I'm definitely thinking about bringing it back. And let's see, Carl says, Sarah, I wore the Dark Pope miter hat during the Friday Green Room. Carl's greeting Nick. Nick saying, stumble by, hope all is well. Yep, all is doing good. And Sarah's saying, OMG, yes, resurrected. I'll be moving Tuesday night, Sarah. Yep, okay, I missed that part in the chat. Sarah saying, I just stumbled into Nichols. And Nick saying, always good to see everyone. I'm just setting up for this week's video. Gotcha. And Sarah saying, I gotcha. I'm so out of the loop with the crap tons rolling around. That's understandable. Carl's saying Joe kind of fits the show in when he can around work, etc. Yeah. I'm hoping with doing it Tuesday nights I can get back into the flow of working on this, and that gives me a dedicated hour or two of working on this. So and I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do it. I'm probably not going to do it through StreamYard. I'll probably just do it through OBS like I am right now. Um, that way, it's um, yeah. Wow, brain dead, mush. Oof. Think of it eventually. Oh, anyway. Um, yeah, I think I might just do it through here because it seems a little easier for me through here. Because I can actually just keep the chat open over here, and I've actually got dual chat screens that I can see because I've got the multi chat up in one panel of OBS, but I can also see what you guys are seeing on OBS, which is the chat showing up on the screen. So I've got two different places I can actually look at, which is kind of nice. Let's see here. Let's go back. Let's get back into this for a second. So I need to do another paragraph after. And pull this up for a second. And we're going to copy this to paste in here. And I think I have to give that. Yeah, I do have to give that the class of font size members. There we go. And let's clean up the code here just a bit. There we go. That's better. Actually, you know what? Let's give that a line break. Yeah, we'll go with it for now. Good enough for now. Let's see. Sarah's saying Nick and Dark misses, and you should, Joe, even though I'm never around. Well, really. That's always good to have you around when you can be here, Sarah. Nick says, good evening. The night is young, but my soul feels ancient and my groceries are running late. Tragic is the delay in Sunday nachos. Oh, the Sunday nachos being delayed. That is blasphemy. And Carl's making a Hobbit reference. And Nick, I just finished Second Supper. Yeah, I did see that. Actually, thank you for reminding me, Nick. I'm going to throw that into the IndieCD link chat real quick. I did see that last night after I got out of Stupid Clocks show because it takes me back into my StreamYard account at that point, and I saw that it said I needed to reconnect that. But thank you for the reminder. And Nick says, Carl, I approve of hobby-based lifestyle choices. And Carl says, now I am smoking Gandalf tobacco. And Nick's saying, Groovy Joe. All right, let's throw in another paragraph after, which is going to be a blank, really, a blank space. And then another after, which is going to have the heading nested inside of it. Oh, Life on Korra, number 4. This. here. Life on Korra number 4. Inner talents. I'll do an image after. And then I gotta look up the size of the image. 640 by 898. And bring that down to 400. Minimize that for a second. Copy all that. And we're going to do a new paragraph after. Oh, no. That's outside my div. Cannot have that outside the div. Really? Quit sending me to the top. There we go. Paragraph after. Why are you putting it outside the div? Oh, because that's all in the same paragraph. Exit that. Image after. Stitch that. There we go. P. 2. Oh no, that is all inside the same. Is it? No. That one cuts off that one. My code's messed up somewhere, and I'm not entirely sure where. Okay, so that goes to that. So who do you line up with? You line up with that one. No wonder my code is messing up. This should all be after. Oops. This one. There we go. That's looking a little better. Let's see, getting behind in the comments here. Let's go back up a little bit. Carl saying Strip was in Calvin's recycle box in Mommy's office, so he came to get in my recycle box. And Dawn's here. Good evening, Dawn. Dawn saying good evening to everybody, and Carl's greeting Dawn. Carl says cats love boxes, and they super love boxes with paper in them to nest in. Yes, this is true. So do rats. Donna's greeting Dawn. Sarah says, oh no, I just returned a desk to Walmart and they put the charge back onto my debit card that I used before I had to get a new one with a new number. Just noticed that. Ooh. Yeah, definitely gotta call the bank tomorrow. Nick says, I am to be of service to you fine folks whenever possible. And Nick saying, oh no to Sarah. Donna looks behind her. Strips is still asleep in Kelly's box here in my office. Sarah's saying almost $100. Aw, kitty. Carl says, Sarah, talk to the credit card folks. It should still apply to your account. And I'm sure that has happened to other people too. Yeah, I'm sure it has. And Dan's saying good evening. Sarah says, woo, I didn't think about it because it was a flustercuck returning it. Just looked down and saw the return slip. Carl's greeting Dan. Sarah's thanking Carl for the info. Donna's greeting Dan, and Carl says Walmart won't refund to a different card number, so you're stuck on that side. Just work with the bank. It should be okay. Yeah. Alright. So, caught up on the chat. Let's get back into this. I am on Life and Core 4, 640 by 898. And we're going to drop that down to 400. And so you're saying, woo, thanks, Carl. Brought my sudden panic spike down. Dang, sideswipe there for a second. And Nick saying, folks, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to not miss a moment of eclectic programming. And Carl Sanders, I told one credit card, don't let anyone else charge my account, but let anyone pay on it who is dumb enough. Amen. Sarah says, or get the whip in a way that isn't pleasurable. I was not talking to you back there. I didn't even say your name back there. What are you going on about? All of a sudden, my HomePod device turned on behind me. Oh, because I keep saying Sarah's name and it thinks I'm saying her name. And Dan's saying electronic programming. And Sarah says I did it myself. And where did I miss Trey coming in at? Don says got behind in comments as well. There's an accident going on in town with a car fully engulfed in flames. Oh no. And Carl says, oh, I thought it was Trey and it was she who shall not be named, otherwise she'll go off again. Nope, I'm down here in the basement. Trey's upstairs with the cats. Alright, so we got that set. Let us get this. Lovely little bit of code right here. And we'll toss that in there. And Sarah's greeting everybody. So much full moon going on, yeah. And Carl's asking flaming car wrecks in Peoria? Dang, yeah. We get a lot of those on I-65 too. Let's see, we need to add this around the image. So that's done. I need to add a paragraph in after. Haha, there we go. Now we're cooking with fire. Alright. Grab up these 3 little lines here. And paste that in. Clean that up. And give that the class of font size members. And there we go. Sarah's saying it's like Homer Simpson, where even his bowl of cereal catches fire. Okay, so that is linked. Shoot, which people? Okay, it's linked to that one. So let's do add an extra one of those there, so I can ditch that one. There we go. That should allow me to do this. Hit after. Aha. Blank space. And once again, paragraph after. We're just going to hard code the H2 rather than everything else. Life on Korra number 5. Life on Korra 5. Tiny Travels. Carl saying, Joe, imagine doing this in Fortran and having to add a punch card back in the right spot to add something. No, thank you. I got bored enough one time that I taught myself Pascal and made a very basic DOS calculator. That was bad enough. And Carl saying, yes, I grew up with this tech. Dan says, I got a chipboard panel installed in the barn today and an outlet strip mounted to it. I also got all of Lynn's wind chimes hung back up on the porch, but maybe not in her preferred spots. Well, at least they're up. You know, moving them around shouldn't be a huge issue. So put it in wingdings again. That could be a good April Fool's Day if I really wanted to. No, I'd somehow mess up the whole site and have to redo the whole damn thing. I know I would. Dan says I need to get the outlet strip up off the countertop so the chipboard became a partial interior wall. Okay. Let's do a paragraph after. Do an image nested. Life on Quora 5. Ditch the text. $640 by $898. That's good. Ooh, whoa. Not 4100. That messed things up just a tiny bit. Carl says I only had to punch cards for a semester. After that, we got to use an acoustic modem where we shoved a phone on a special cradle to program. Nice. Sarah says, such a great influence right here. Roll on the floor. Some things never change. Shenanigans. Wingdings with Control Alt Arrow. Oh, God, I forgot about Control Alt Arrow there for a minute. Dawn's saying, ooh, and Vivendale's oven decided to malfunction and wouldn't stop increasing heat. Burnt those cookies. They're okay. Thank goodness Mom was nearby. No kidding. Guessing it was a electric oven? And Dan says, make a rename backup in Wingding so you can swap it out as you will. I have a feeling I would still screw it up somehow, which would really piss me off. Let's copy that. Oh, we got a new follower over on Kick. Let's add the ending A's to both of these. And yeah, I gotta work with Botrix for the IndieCD page, kind of like I did with the IndieCD music one, just so I can make it to where I don't get the spam messages anymore. Let's see. Dawn says, nope, gas. Luckily, their neighbor does appliance repair. Had to shut the gas off. It could have been super bad. No kidding. Yeah, it sounds like just a. I'm going out on a limb because I don't know much, but that to me sounds like it'd be a regulator issue. And Carl says, sometime I need to learn how to multi-broadcast in OBS. On second thought, no, I don't. And Dan says, I believe that 2 or 3 computers ago I had a Klingon and a Romulan font. Ooh. That could be fun to play with. And Carl says, gas? Yikes. Yeah. No kidding. And actually multi-streaming through OBS, I actually use Stream Elements. It's Stream Elements OBS.live. It's basically OBS with the multi-streaming built in. Like it's actually based on OBS. I think you actually have to have OBS installed to be able to do it. And but as far as like everything goes, as far as like the scenes and sources and all that, it's all exactly the same stuff, because it's like if you could actually see my screen right now, up along the top it actually says OBS 32.0.2, and when an update comes out, I actually have to run 2 separate updates, one for OBS when they update, and then one for Stream Elements if they have an update. And Carl says, yeah, it's a flavor OBS like Linux flavors. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's come back down here and insert. That's not the way I wanted that inserted. Where the hell did you come from? Okay, who do you line up with? You line up with that one. There we go. There we go. That is better. That is much better. Okay, paragraph. After. No. We'll just do it this way. There we go. And, oh, no, not insert. There we go. Ooh, buddy. Almost sparse that up. Copy that. Toss that in. Give that the class, font, size, members. There it is. Don says the board messed up and was telling the oven bad info. Ooh, yeah. Board messed up bad. Sarah says, I remember BKM having a hell of a time using OBS on NTF. And Carl's saying, Sarah, I tried to teach him, but BKM is not a techie dude. You have to create scenes and then add the props and actors in each scene. Yeah. So what you guys are seeing on screen, every little thing here, like, I'm gonna get rid of that chat because I really don't need it down there. But every little thing you're seeing on the screen here, um, is a source essentially, Sarah, that I can go through and remove my Twitch viewers, my Twitch followers, add them back in. Same with the Kick followers and the subs. You know, there's a whole bunch of different things, and technically, like, I even have my camera here. I just choose to keep it off because I don't have my green screen set up right now. I gotta quit being lazy about that and actually get that set back up. All right, let's add another thing in here. We are close to being done with Life on Quora here. And do another paragraph after. Get this in H2. Life on Quora, number 6. Which I didn't have a title for under his previous under his previous page, but we're going to go to his website real quick. Oh no, he doesn't have the numbers on him. Oh, I'm gonna have to ask him what his which one is 6 and which one is 7. Oh no. Let's see. Carl says I tried to make it sound like a stage play because I knew BCam would get the idea better. Yeah. And Dan says translation to familiar tropes is a help, Carl. And Carl's agreeing. Let me think. You know what? I might hold on. Life on Korra number 6. Of course, is not there, so I might. Let's see. I'm fairly certain I backed that on Kickstarter. So I think he did it on Kickstarter. Oh yeah, like I remember what my password is for that right now. There we go. Oh. Okay, so Life on Korra number 7 was the Bond. Okay, so that narrows it down for me. All right, that's what I needed. And Carl asked Donna, "Do you have those Life on Korra books?" And she says, "Downstairs in the library." Yeah, it's okay. I got it figured out. Um, I did get that figured out. Sarah says, "Never mind. Just realized the problem BKM was having with OBS on NTF was when people were having to get into StreamYard to see who was in the chat." And yes, that was a while back. And Donna says, "Let me look at the list." Carl says, "Yeah, Sarah, I didn't guess. And guess is not easy on OBS. No, it's not. But I do know which one. I do know which one is which now. So I can go back to his page. So it should be Frew and the Building Blossoms for number 6. I need to save that. All files. Call that Life on Core 6. .png. That's better. Okay. Don says Joe has Life on Core in his basement. Yep. But I don't know which one that is. I'm assuming that's the first one. Dan says my OBS is still set up to show how I compose music. Been a while since he's made that video. Yes, it is. And more than just the tip, Carl. I got the whole rocket. Donna says that's good because I evidently fell down on the job and haven't put any after the 2023 anthology book in the database. Oopsie. Oops. And Don says that too. Haha, Carl. Nick says, sorry to have gone silent. Sarah's issue reminded me I had, guessing, DeviantArt issues to address, so I'll be doing a lot of uploads very soon. Okay. Let's see. I need to do image after. You know what? There we go. There. Image. Nope. It's not going to give me the choice for after, is it? I know what I need to do. Nope. Cancel. I don't know why I'm drawing so many blanks on how to just properly do this. And why I keep wanting to capitalize that P. That's the part that makes no sense. Image. Nest. Life on Course 6. Get rid of this. There we go. Good Lord. Carl saying, glad to hear you got DeviantArt issue fixed. And Don says, I really need to touch base with Mrs. Bachman on meeting up. And Don says, nice, Nick. You need some good juju. Yes, he does. And Carl saying, good job on the greenie today. And let's add this lovely little bit of code to here. Close that off. Add this to here. Close it off. Insert a paragraph after. Give it the class of, not link, font size members. And come back here. Copy. Paste. Clean that up a bit. And we're going to go with a BR there. There we go. You know what? Let's see what that looks like. The emphasized. Yeah, I kind of like that. There we go. That'll work. That will do. That will do. Don says, thanks. 20 left. Carl says, you have 14 days left. You can do it. And even if you can't because of the knee, we will understand. Yes. And Donna says, oh, DeviantArt. I read DA as in District Attorney and was wondering what our dear Cryptid had done now. And Carl says maybe he's like me and the city is harassing him again. Alright, so we've got that put in. Let's Do another paragraph after. Quit taking my paragraph tags down. That blank space. Paragraph after. See, not so hard now, is it? And we're going to call this H2. Life on Korra number 7. The Bond. And Nick says, Don, I have avoided legal entanglements thus far. The only bad part about doing OBS for this is I can't just run ads. Well, I could. Be a pain to set up. I could do it. But maybe that's something I'll work on another time, is adding in the ability to do ads while I'm doing this. Nick says, excluding, of course, the shenanigans with alleged egg production, avians, and literal grass. Carl says, unless they drop charges again on the house painting issue, I go to city court on the 23rd of December. Merry Christmas to you. And Don is giving Nick the thumbs up. Don says, literal grass. Ha ha ha. Let's see. Let's throw a paragraph in. Quit capitalizing that, Joe. Insert an image, nested. Wait, do I not have? Really? I didn't have the bond saved? Save image. All. Life on Korra 7 PNG. Save it. Add it. See how big it is. 640 by 842. Okay. 640, 842. Shrink to 400. I did not do that with this guy, did I? I did not. Oh, I didn't add in the alt text either. Naughty me. And Carl says, add the ads as a scene pointing to an MP4 on the computer. Yeah, the one thing I wish OBS had, or even Stream Elements had, was the ability to do folders in the scenes section. So that way I could easily group together, like, my starting scene, the intro scene, my display cap scene, BRB scene, the outro scene, the ending stream scene. You know, have all those in a folder that I could then you know, minimize, maximize, and then do the same for like all the ads. Dan says I ordered a larger solar power bank for the well house, and they seem to have given me 2 free gifts as well. Didn't expect that. No, hey, free gifts are always good. And Dawn says, wait, Joe just needs a little pee. Yeah, just like, just a little tip. And Carl says, hail, pale. He's also saying someone was writing an add-on to make folders in OBS. I don't know how far they got. It'd be nice, that's for dang sure. Okay, I need to look up the size of cover 6, 640 by 842. Oh no. Unlink that. There we go. 640 by 842. Really? Oh no, 600 by 842. I was right. Shoot. 600, 842. There we go. Drop it to 400. There we go. Alright. Good lord. Yeah, Amy's only here in spirit, Sarah. Good evening, Chris Walker. Everybody prepare for the squee from Dawn. What was I doing here? Oh. The alt text. And borrow that line of code for here and here. And give it the closing. Wait, why am I getting errors? Oh, probably because it's after the paragraph. Yep. Okay. Close. Nope. I don't need that anymore. There we go. There we go. Okay. And we got greetings to Chris from Carl, Dan, a squee from Dawn, a hey there from Sarah, greetings from Donna. Dan says, oh goodness, my ears just popped and the dog almost woke up. And Chris is greeting Sarah, saying, hello, it's nice to see you on here. And Sarah says, oh yeah, it's been a hot minute. Glad to see you too. And Dan says, it's merely a rumor that Dawn's squeeze show up on Russian radar. Dan, that is about as much of a rumor as Nick not being a cryptid. Let's be honest here. Love you, Nick. Save all real quick. Why is it acting like... Code, split view. Alright, we will be right back, folks. Okay, there we are. Now we're back. And Sarah says, been in and out of AFK mode. Don says, seriously. Dan smiles. Chris saying hi to Donna and Carl. I hope that your birthday was a great time and celebrating was appropriate for the occasion. And Carl says, I didn't do much on my birthday, which was exactly what I wanted to do. Nothing. After... Give that the closing. This is going to get this lovely little bit of text. And class, font size members. Chris is laughing. Dan, that was a welcome laugh that you got out of me. And Carl says, well, except try to explain USB 2 and USB 3 connections to my brother. Oh boy. May whatever deity that you choose to follow, have mercy on you, Carl. Alright, so that gives me all the life on cores in here. I do need to add the alt text real quick. There we go. So that gives me all of that. We're going to save it. Head over to the files here. There's Mike Jimmy. Connect to the server. File activity complete. Awesome. Let's head over to IndieCD. Categories, animators, Mike Jimmy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all there. Excellent. All right. Well, that is a good breaking point for now. You see, I got a bunch more to add in from him still. We've got My Cup of Tea, we got the Oswald Chronicles, Over a Coffee, Tall Tales, Thieves Quest, The Radiant Sight, The Sin Killer 1, and Bloodwing Angel Chronicles, Book 1. So we still have some more stuff to add in for Mike Jimmy. This gives me a good breaking point, though. He is one of the larger ones that I have to work on. There's a few profiles I'm really considering. I'm trying to think the best way to do some of these. One, just so that the page isn't super long, you know. Two, the more images you add, of course, the longer it takes the page to load, which nowadays doesn't really, let's be honest, doesn't matter nearly as much with high-speed internet connections the way they are now, but get through the rest of the chat here real quick, and then we'll kick it over to the outro scene. Chris says that can usually be a very tedious task to explain technology to friends and family that aren't tech savvy at all. You have my sympathy. And Dan says, Carl, sounds like when I tried to explain to my dad how I could visualize blueprints in 3D. Yeah. Alright, so with that, folks, we are going to call it a night. Like I said, I'm thinking this Tuesday night I'm going to bring back Behind the Code. I will throw a post out on the IndieCD page probably tomorrow for sure. If it's not this week, it'll probably be next week. And then I will, with it being on Tuesday nights, I will have to skip some Tuesdays due to the Parks Board meetings, but otherwise, I will have a show. Chris says tabs on the profile will shorten the length. I wish I could do the tabs again, and maybe there is a way to do tabs with HTML and CSS that I don't know how to do. But it's oh, Dawn, I'm gonna be starting it later in the night. It's not gonna be until 7 p.m. anyway. Which is about time OMG wraps up his internet favs. But yeah, it's there. This is basically I'm gonna get the site up and running again, and then I'll probably start playing around. I'll probably set up a separate site, as a playground for other things. So, so yeah. But anyway, with that, folks, we will see you again soon. Don't forget, we got Nevermind the Furthermore tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, with Bladed Thesis' show, game stream of Nine Dragons tomorrow night. And with that, have a great evening, folks.